Hi there. This is John and Mike from BrewDudes.com or Brew-Dudes.com because we couldn't afford not having the dash somehow. And this is the first vlog of the site. We haven't done a video in years, but we're going to get back into it, and this is the first one that we're doing. That's going to be a part of a weekly series, I think. I think we'll post something every Wednesday or something. That's my thought. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Good luck to us.
Yeah, good luck with that. But I thought it would be a good idea to recap the year 2012, take a look back at what we planned to do this year, and see if we actually did what we planned to do, and talk about what we were trying to do for next year, and also reviewing what we did this year, and is that where we want to be in terms of home brewers. So I know that I planned to do. We had this whole Masters of Lagers series that we were going to do. I think we planned to do at least 6 lagers for the year, and just kind of get into the process of lager making, and also the cold conditioning that goes along with the beer. I think as a side note, I said I wanted to upgrade my wort chiller, which I did. I had a very small one, like a basic, I think a 15-foot immersion chiller, and I got a bigger one, and that helped a lot in terms of getting a good cold break and setting up the brew for the fermentation. The second thing I wanted to do was to brew a recipe twice to see if I could replicate the process. I did do that, but I don't think I did it to the point of which I wanted to. I actually brewed a white beer twice, but that's because I wasn't happy with the fermentation aftertaste, or I had fermented at a warm temperature, and warm being 68 degrees, and it gave a lot of funk to a white beer that shouldn't have had a lot of funk. So what I did was brewed the exact same beer again, and then fermented at something cooler, around 60 degrees. And we haven't tasted them side by side yet, but we'll be doing that in a future video. But from my own tasting of it, a much better product at a lower temperature fermenting the beer than one of a higher one of what I would think is true room temperature, 68, 70 degrees. So that was another thing. The third thing was to figure out a process to maintain fermentation temperatures, and I think I did that. I think once you get a fridge and you have a thermostat override, I think you basically have a system where you can dial into whatever fermentation temperature you need to have your beer fermented. But I don't really do that for ales. But I have found in my house where things stay at a pretty constant temperature, and I've learned how much heat comes off just the fermentation process. So I know where to place my carboy in the house that keeps it to what my target temperature should be. So I guess I've gotten to everywhere I wanted to go in 2012. But of course, there's some things like I still need to brew a beer twice so I can see if I can replicate my process rather than just brew it again as more of an experiment. What do you think, man?
For this year, I had three basic goals in mind. One, I was about this time last year, I was building new equipment. So I kind of retooled my whole brewery, stepped up to converted kegs for my mash tun and my kettle, and everything that comes along with that. I had bought a pump 2 years ago I wanted to incorporate into my process for mashing, recirculating during the mash, then also doing a recirculation chiller setup with my immersion chiller. My wife actually challenged me this year to brew at least once a month, because I've been saying I wanted to brew more, because in order to be a better brewer, you really need to focus on brewing a lot. The only way to become better is to practice.
Yeah.
So that kind of tied in with the new equipment, because I wanted to get my process down to something where I could be more consistent with what I was doing when I brewed. I didn't really care so much this year about what I was going to brew. I mean, I had a few core recipes that I wanted to hit a couple times to tweak and play with. But for me, the real focus was just brewing at least once a month, right now as it stands, I've brewed 14 batches this year. We're closing out December. I'm gonna try to get. I need to get one more batch in to make sure I get once a month. But I'm already at 14 batches, so that's good. And then that's the
That's
third.
exceeding your goal. That's
Exactly. Well, you
exceeding your
gotta
goal.
shoot high.
Yeah.
So then the third goal is jumping into the Master Lager series. I had tried a couple times in the past to do lagers, Oktoberfest. I've had temperature control for a long time, but I've always been focused on ale brewing. And John and I, we talked about lager brewing last year, so I was really focused on trying to throw a few lagers into that mix, because, again, it's just something to throw in and try to learn to be consistent and just learn my system and how my system reacts. So I think I brewed 4 lagers this year.
Yep.
Which was a great process, and that was also us playing around with repitching yeast, harvesting yeast.
Yeah.
I'd brew a batch and give him some yeast, and vice versa. So we did a lot of that, kind of incidental goals of learning to repitch yeast and collect slurry. So I think that's my primary objectives.
Yeah, I think we're gonna recap the Master of Lagers series in a future video too, because I think there's a lot of learnings that we came up with, like just the whole repitching yeast. I think that is a big key into it. And then I think we touched
Especially with
upon
lagers.
yeah, I think we also touched upon water chemistry, which I think that might be a goal for 2013.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Well, I hope you guys had a great brew year, 2012. Here's to 2013, and check us out. We'll be trying to post these videos every Wednesday or something like that. We'll see.
Brew on.